Let's move on. Revenue generated by this mechanism will contribute to the fulfillment of financial obligations under the Convention of those countries taking a quantified emissions reduction commitment. The scope of this mechanism is to provide financial resources for A, adaptation resources. Remember, financial resources. This is outsourcing of your money to third world countries. A, adaptation. B, REDD, which I'm not sure what it is, but that's what it's claimed as. And C, capacity building. The Conference of Parties shall determine the quantity of allowances to be auctioned at its 16th session for the period to support each financial need referred to in paragraph X, which is not listed yet. This is still a draft. In order to provide predictable funding, the method for determining the quality to be auctioned may factor in price fluctuations in emissions allowance, which means that you can only fart so many times before you have to pay for it. The quantity could be determined on the basis of a number of allowances, fixed percentage of the total amount of predefined revenue requirement, or combination of these methods. Literally, people, your farts, your dog, for example, has been listed as contributing as much emissions as a 4x4, and that there are talks about taxing owning a dog, which is ridiculous. If they're going to talk about taxing a dog, you damn well be sure they're going to tax your cows, they're going to tax your chickens, and they're going to tax your goats and your everything. I mean, anything you have that consumes oxygen and emits CO2, they're going to tax it. Even your dog. Okay? They're saying that it's a 4x4. And you can look this up, 4x4 dog. Google it. It'll come right up. The Conference of Parties shall adopt further principles, modalities, rules, and guidelines for the function of this mechanism at its 16th session, including adopting procedures for the determination of the quantity to be auctioned for subsequent periods, taxes on carbon-intensive products and services, mobilization of additional international resources may include additional contributions developed by country parties over and above the assess contributions. Over and above the assess contributions. All right, we've got a call from 604. We're going to go ahead and take it. You're on the air, 604.
Hi, this is Rob from Vancouver, Canada.
Hey, Rob.
Okay, what I got here is we got a lot of like brainwashed people where I am, and we're going to host the 2010 Olympics. And so our government is spending way too much money on security than it needs to, and that's really concerning me because I think that we're just going to have a big police state, demonstration.
Are you aware of the origins of the Olympics and what they actually represent?
Yeah, Nazi Germany ideals.
Absolutely. Here's my recommendation to you, Rob. You need to get out there with a fire extinguisher and put that shit out. But I don't blame you, man. I mean, Canada is socialized pretty well. Most of your needed services are already socialized, and I'd actually like to hear about what you think about like socialized healthcare and how it runs over there.
I don't have an exact opinion on socialized healthcare, but it seems to work out somewhat okay. But what happens is there's long wait times, and so basically, well, I'll tell you an interesting story. There's this one guy. He's involved in the medical system in BC here, and he was involved in this scandal with the BC government, and he tried to make this little computerized, like a Palm Pilot thing that would communicate with people's charts and stuff, and then it ended up that the government was, he was making deals, and they got a bunch of money through, and you basically have to search online. But I got another article in front of me that's more relevant to.
Let's hear it.
It's about the Copenhagen Treaty, and what happened on October 24th. They had a demonstration, and the title is of the article, Thousands March for Cool Planet. Event draws attention to the upcoming UN climate change talks. And this is on theprovince.com. And then basically, the gist of the article is a bunch of people walked across, more than 5,000 Vancouverites marched for the International Day of Climate Action. And the thing is that all these people are actually in support of the Copenhagen Treaty. They weren't against it, and all these poor suckers don't have any idea what's in that Copenhagen Treaty and what's it going to do to them.
They sure don't. If they knew anything about the Copenhagen Treaty or ever read it themselves, at least the excerpts from it, then they would be shying away from it very quickly.
Yeah, I haven't read it actually. I don't actually know where to find it yet, but I did hear a lot of it from Alex Jones, and basically the gist of it is it's pretty bad and you don't want it.
There's three main parts of the Copenhagen Treaty. That is number one, it's global governance, and that's the first part of the Copenhagen Treaty and what it's going to actually do. Number two is it's going to redistribute wealth from Western countries such as Canada and the United States into third world countries. And number three, it's going to retroactively tax us for any climate and carbon emissions that we have produced over the last X years into a world government, world bank that's going to redistribute this wealth. So really number 2 and 3 are pretty similar, but it's horrifying. And if any first world country citizen knew exactly what it was going to do, then they would not be for it. And I'll tell you what, you need to pull up the excerpts that I have pulled out, and you can find that on facebook.com/SpyderC. That's SPYDERC, Spider with a Y, then C. It's one of the first things on my Facebook list there, and I've pulled out a good 2 or 3 pages of the most important parts. You need to print that out and hand it to all your constituents and friends and whatnot. And I appreciate your call. We've got about less than a minute left, and I'm going to finish up here. Thanks for your call, sir.
Okay, see you later.
Yeah. All right. That was an excellent call. The Copenhagen Treaty is not a treaty. It is a bill which is going to release all sovereignty from first world countries to third. We are about to be dissolved. And in this last minute, I'm going to cover a few other things which I really don't have time to do. I was hoping to be able to get to these. The bottom line is this. Obama is going to surrender America to the New World Government. This is in the Copenhagen Treaty. It's not covered in the mainstream media. If you don't know about it, you need to look it up. Add me as a friend on your Facebook. That's facebook.com/SpiderC with a Y instead of an I. And you'll be able to read that on one of my notes. Otherwise, you guys have something coming to you, and you have no idea what's about to hit you in the face. It's a frying pan, and it's big. This thing will devastate your country, and I appreciate the caller that just called in, and we will hit you guys up next week, same time, same channel. Just add us as a friend there, and we appreciate everything you guys have done. Goodbye.